Hello, thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to the Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. And this morning, I'm going to be handling something that many of you could have never heard of or have been seeing, but you actually don't know. At some time, we've misunderstood it for various reasons, including witchcraft. This is something to do with health. And today is World Lymphedema Day. Now, I don't know if you've heard of that word, to be honest, or actually, away from those in the medical field. Now we're talking about those that are not in the medical field. If you've ever heard of lymphedema, and now we are talking about World Lymphedema Day, which is celebrated globally. Now, joining me on set to discuss this, I have three young lads. I have Semakula Elijah Enoch, who is a medical officer. Welcome to the show, Semakula.
Thank you so much.
And I also have Kamusime Emmanuel, an orthopedic officer. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
But just next to me, I have Mugisha Ivan Isimbwa, who is the director, that is Lymphedema Support Foundation Uganda, that advocates for social health. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, allow me begin with a man here who was, I said, director. First and foremost, when we talk about lymphedema,
Edema. Local lymphedema.
lymphedema abroad, then we shall go into edema.
Yeah.
Now, first let's begin with a broader picture. Lymphedema, what is this?
So, as I introduced myself, my name is Isimbwa Mugisha Ivan, the director of Edema Support Foundation Uganda. So, as you had the term edema, edema means general swelling. So swelling has various causes, of which we have been misinformed about here. So on lymphedema, then the World Lymphedema Day today is the day we celebrate that swelling, which we call lymphedema. So lymphedema is when the lymphatic system has been damaged or like having a disorder. That's when you develop what we call chronic swelling. So as my colleagues will explain more about it, so lymphedema means swelling, and that swelling has various causes. So today is the day we are celebrating, and we're trying to advocate for this condition, because most of our down here in Uganda and even Africa at large, we didn't know how to perceive and how to manage this condition. And with our cultural differences, we normally had that conception of witchcraft. So now we have come to shed light on this condition and explain more and give the answers to the questions most of the people have been having.
Now let me rush to the doctor here. Semakula, please throw more light on this. One talks of lymphedema, then edema.
Okay, so my name is Semakula Elijah. I'm a medical clinical officer. So lymphedema, as my colleague has said, is basically chronic swelling. It does so much with the lymphatic system. So our lymphatic system in the body mainly has three functions. One, its first function is to transport fluids, wastes, proteins, fats away from tissues to where they're needed. The second function, it helps in transportation of fats from the intestines to where they'll be processed and to where they're needed. The third function is it plays a huge role in our immune system. Our immune system just helps to protect our body from invaders like bacteria, viruses, fungi, anything that is a foreign body in our system. Our lymphatic system helps to deal with that. So how does lymphedema come in after all this? First of all, the lymphatic system has majorly three parts. It has the lymph vessels, it has the lymph nodes, it has two organs. There's a spleen, there's a thymus gland. All these help in the immune system. But with lymphedema, we are more concerned with the transport system, which is the vessels and the nodes. Now, what causes lymphedema? We have majorly two major causes. We have the primary causes, and then we have the secondary causes. So with primary, it is more of genetic. you can be born with it. Majorly that. It's majorly that you're born with it. You're born with an impaired lymphatic system. And when you're born with an impaired lymphatic system, it means your body cannot drain fluid away from your tissues properly. So you will find a child having swollen limbs right from birth, having a swollen abdomen, because our lymphatic system spreads throughout the body. And there are specific points called lymph nodes, like I earlier told you about. So when any of those parts gets damaged, more so in the vessels where there are valves that prevent backflow, we tend to get that improper drainage of fluid. So that is the primary cause in the genetic side of it. Now, the one which we have mostly in Uganda is the secondary causes. The secondary causes can range from traumatic accidents where maybe someone is knocked, their leg is severed off, or even if just a cut. Those cuts, remember, our lymphatic vessels move together with our blood vessels. So where there is a blood vessel, there is definitely a lymphatic vessel. So when these lymphatic vessels are damaged, they tend to get fibrosed as they are trying to heal. When they try to heal, they create more of scar tissue. So these lymphatic vessels have valves that try to prevent backflow. So now if it is healing with a bit of scar tissue, it is not going to form back the original structure that was there. So what is going to happen is you're going to have backflow of that fluid. That is the traumatic side of it. We have medical conditions that can cause this. We can have blood pressure, we can have kidney issues, we can have liver issues. All these can cause fluid to build up in your tissues. We have podoconiosis. Podoconiosis is now the major condition that is spread around Uganda. Podoconiosis, in simple terms, it's a type of lymphedema, but this is more caused by minerals in the soil. And these minerals are the ones that are found in volcanic soils, the silica, the aluminium, and there are some other oxides as well that tend to cause this condition. So what happens is people living around areas with volcanic soils, most of them, they tend not to wear shoes, gumboots, kubanga, they are more of farmers, you understand? So once they move in shoes, these particles or these ions, they tend to go through their feet. When they go through their feet, they tend to irritate those lymphatic vessels. Now, I told you earlier the lymphatic vessels have valves. The more you irritate them, the more you irritate the valves. These valves are the ones that help, let's say, fluid coming from the legs to go up. They prevent that fluid from going back down. So when the fluid goes up, it closes, and then it continues going up. So when the valves are damaged, you're going to have backflow of that fluid. Now, since this person has been moving in feet for a long time, they'll be exposed, let's say, chronically to these ions over and over again. So they'll keep damaging the vessels over and over again until to a point where it is irreversible, and they'll have what we call podoconiosis, which is a type of lymphedema. Cancer patients as well who undergo radiation therapy, who undergo chemotherapy. Chemotherapy damages lymph nodes. It impairs that flow. So you'll find most cancer patients with swellings in their legs, swellings in their arms, sometimes even swellings in their abdomen. And so many more causes, but these are just some of the basic causes of lymphedema as a condition. Yes.
Now I'll go to the orthopedic officer we have this morning. As an orthopedic officer, where do you come in this treatment?
Thank you so much. My name is Kamsim Emmanuel, as I introduced myself, the orthopedic officer. Where I come in this treatment, for me, majorly, or actually what we always do, we always treat these patients. Actually, more specifically, there is no cure of this condition, but then we alleviate the symptoms. So most of the times, what we do manage this condition. Yes, so because we've seen that lymphedema, actually, it has stages. So we have stage 0, where, yes, there's no visible swelling, but then the lymphatic system is impaired. Then in stage 1, that's where we have swelling, and then when you press it, There is.
I think you can have this placard. My cameraman
yes,
will zoom it
yeah,
as you talk about this so that you can better express.
Yeah.
Show using it. Please hand it over to him so that he can better. When you talk of stages.
Yes, yes. So in stage 1, that's where we have a visible swelling is there, and once you place it, we have a depression on the what? On the foot or the leg. And then in stage 2, that's where we have swelling does not go away. In stage 1, swelling can go away. Yeah, once someone elevates the feet, actually most of the patients always come and they're like, when I rest at night and in the morning my feet are not swollen, but when I start my daily activities, my feet start swelling. So that is stage 1. Then stage 2, that's where we have there is swelling, but then the swelling is not reversible. Yes. Then we also have the lymphostatic elephantiasis. That is stage 3. Then we have the severe elephantiasis, because we've seen that elephantiasis is a severe form. Is a severe form of lymphedema. So management of this condition, it depends on the stage the patient is in. So in stage 0 and stage 1, most of the times we use what we call compression stockings, just compression garments. Yeah. Then actually in the management of lymphedema, we have what we call complete decongestive therapy. Yes. So in complete decongestive therapy, we are trying to reduce, if at all someone is in maybe stage 4, we are trying to reduce the size of the leg, because most of the time a patient comes and you find they have a very big leg, and we need to return it to normal. So most of the times what we do what we call complete decongestive therapy. In complete decongestive therapy, we have what we call manual lymphatic drainage. Then from manual lymphatic drainage, we would do what we call vibration therapy. So vibration therapy, what vibration therapy does, it breaks the bonds between the protein-rich fluid in the lymphatic fluid, and then it makes it easy for the body to excrete it. Then from there, we do what we call compression therapy. So in compression therapy, we have what we call compression garments, where we have compression stockings, we have stockinettes, we have all that stuff. Yeah. So we do compression therapy, and then we teach the patient how to do self-care, because also we always teach them how to do skin care. Yeah, you have to make sure that there are no wounds on the legs, because once wounds go onto the legs, healing is very hard. Yeah. So majorly we do conservative therapy, and then we also do what we call surgery. So in surgery, what we always do, we have our partners, they are German partners. They always come 2 times in a year. That is January, February, and then September, October. So they are the one, we have a professor, is the one who does the surgery. So in surgery, we do what we call lymph node transplant. So we do lymph node transplant, where they transplant lymph nodes from where there are many, and then they implant them where they are less, so that they can grow, and then they aid the movement of lymph. Then another thing what we always do is liposuction. Liposuction, this one is always done maybe where you find lymphedema is associated with fat, a lot of fat. So we do liposuction, and then we aid, we debulk the leg. Then another thing what we do after compression therapy, and the muscles, at least the bulking has been done. You know, the skin is the largest organ in the body, the human body. So once the skin expands, most of the time it is always kind of hard for it to go back to its normalcy. So what we always do, we do what we call skin resection. We resect the skin, and then we reduce it, the leg returns to normal. But then what we have to note is that lymphedema is a chronic condition, and it requires an ongoing treatment and
yes.
management. Yes, so yes, we return the leg to normal, but then we keep on bandaging. When it returns to normal again, then we do what? We do what we call, we use compression stockings to maintain it there. Thank you so much.
Now, coming back to the support foundation. First, many times I've seen people with lymphedema. On the streets, there are plenty. Go downtown.
Perfect.
Many of them are beggars. Would I use, is that the right word I've used?
Yeah, it's the right word.
Destitutes, but destitutes are normal. But these ones, you find some, I know, Ugandans, you've seen these on our streets. Some are moving, begging with someone, mutuyamba, afune chokuli okuguru kwange. Others just sit there with a plate where you put a coin. No matter how much you put, you still find one coin there after a minute or two. So, what are those myths or perceptions that people have? Because one was telling me, you don't know what happened to him for him to have that leg that size, that hand that size, what they could have done. So let's look at those myths. Yes.
All right. So the biggest myth around this condition is witchcraft. Let me say Ugandans or Africans as a whole. For some of the things or some of the medical conditions we don't fully understand, most of the times we tend to attribute it to witchcraft. And that is the single most biggest challenge that these people with lymphedema go through. Secondly, another challenge they go through is that people think this condition is contagious, which is not true. It is not true. Even if you find a person with lymphedema standing there and you're in the same room, you will not get lymphedema. So, one, debunking the myths around this hasn't been easy because, first of all, as health workers or as medical health workers, these are things you study about in books, but you don't really go, or you don't really see them so much on a daily. So you end up you end up meeting very many health workers who don't know how to manage this condition once they get it. The only thing they do most of the times is elevation, which is roughly not enough. There has to go in so much into the management, just like Mr. Emma said. So, with such myths on board, I think this is where now we come in as a support foundation on such a day as World Lymphedema Day to teach people, one, this is not witchcraft. I think the usual terms they call lymphedema, there is a taro, a jovu. All those things are not witchcraft.
Most of the taro thing has for a long time been, and someone will tell you, don't even go to hospital.
Exactly.
The moment you're injected, that will mean you're gone. So there's always an expert on the village who they call Oyatege Taro. There's an expert on the village who they will tell you Oyavumure Taro.
Exactly.
But it has got, but the moment you go to hospital, Enjovu still, some now for Enjovu believe, yes, it's treatable, but still some will show Vamuroge Enjovu. So, yes, indeed, we have those challenges.
So, that is the biggest challenges these people face. Now, the fact that people associated with witchcraft, with being contagious, obviously these people are going to be shunned away. No one is going to want to associate with them. No one is going to want to get into relationships with them. No one is going to want to hire them. So their last resort is going to the streets and begging for help, because that is the only place where they can actually get something to eat or even be noticed. Because honestly, if one of those people came to your office asking for a job, even if they were capable, because we have this knowledge gap and these myths around witchcraft and around it being contagious, no one is going to give them these jobs. So that is now where our team came in. I remember we had one of our camps still with these German people. We had one of our first camps in Kamwenge. Kamwenge is a very hilly place. There are a lot of volcanic soils there. There are thousands and thousands of people there with lymphedema, and most so the type of podoconiosis, which I had explained earlier, that is caused by those the ions in the soil, the silicas, the aluminiums. There are so many people down there who are sick of this condition. remember this condition itself, if your lymphatic system is impaired, it is also going to impair your immunity. So you find them getting sick, but they also can't access healthcare because even some of the health workers fear them. You understand what I'm saying? So when we went with these German people, it is where we learned how to manage this condition, how to differentiate the causes. Sometimes you'll have to undergo some lab tests, some scans, x-rays, to confirm that really this is more of a tissue problem, because sometimes it can be cancerous, it can be a bone issue. Other times it can be something as simple as a bacterial infection of the skin, which can be treated with antibiotics and a few days of probably compression, elevation, and the person has recovered. But in places that are hotspot areas like Kamwenge, Moroto, Lake Choga, remember there's also another cause of lymphedema called filariasis, where there are those filarial worms. So usually it's these mosquitoes, the Anopheles mosquitoes, that transmit them. That is the usually elephantiasis we've been studied about in school. So areas that have those mosquitoes and transmitting that worm, you also find a lot of people with these swellings. So those people are so many, but since we have this big knowledge gap, they are neglected not only by their family members, but by also the community and also the hospitals, because we cannot admit a person who you don't know how to manage. It is useless keeping them there. So now that is where we come in with a little knowledge we picked from these people who deal with lymphedema, who treat it and who manage it rather. This is where we learned how to do the compression. This is where we learned how to differentiate the different types and know how to handle each differently. And this is where we also learned how to know that this person can recover with just compression or elevation or vibration, and then this one requires a more invasive procedure like surgery, where they give them lymph node transplants. Obviously it is not a cure, but like we said earlier, it helps improve the quality of life drastically. People who have gone through our program, most of them have gone to work, people have gotten married, and it is just a joy to see someone having a new face at life after recovering or managing their condition properly.
This brings me back to my immediate neighbor, the director of the Edema Support Foundation Uganda. Now, most of these diseases, unfortunately, they attack the poorest of the poor. And here I want to understand the Edema Support Foundation Uganda. How have you been of help?
Yeah, so Edema Support Foundation Uganda, as we earlier introduced ourselves, we are a community-based organization, meaning we are non-profit, and mostly we have been dealing with a few partners who have also come to join our mission. So mostly what we normally have here is we normally engage corporate companies, and we are still engaging corporate companies and other partners like NGO, but we still need government into this, because the treatment is widely expensive compared to, because since most of the materials we normally use during the treatment is being imported. And as the Edema Support Foundation Uganda, we came through to mainly try to minimize on the costs of these materials. So through our innovation hub, we have also tried to engage a few of the materials that we have been importing. So now they have been locally done here, and mainly with treatment, we have been partnering with a few hospitals here, for example, like Bugama University Hospital, which has been giving free medical services, apart from the materials where we need to outsource, through donations, through grants. But for the grants, we haven't got any, but for the donations, a few donations from our German partners, but they are not enough because the numbers are overwhelming. So we are calling upon government, first of all, through Ministry of Health, to integrate this, what we call the lymphatic diseases, into the medical program, because most of these conditions are affecting the vulnerable people, like people who can't, afford the treatment. So we need government, like government intervention. We need other partners, like NGOs, like even the media. We really need the media, because the missing up of information we're having. So, like for example, UBC is really doing a great job, like giving us a platform here to come out like on World Lymphedema Day and create awareness about this condition, because the stigma that comes with this condition is really not good. We even need the public itself to take action. Don't mock these people when they're in public. Don't pinpoint at them. Don't think it's witchcraft. Okay, it's true. The people like had that like misconception that it's witchcraft. Like, okay, today we tell you it's not witchcraft. This condition is manageable. It's treatable, and even with early interventions, you can be doing much better than how most of them like you see them on streets. So we call upon government, well-wishers. When these people come and approach you for any help, please, you help them, mainly with the treatment. Because now, the treatment, for sure, was not around until the German partners came here. But for sure now, we are ready to come and, join the mission. And we welcome everyone, every well-wisher, every partner, every media company that would want to join our mission, mainly in awareness. The first thing is awareness, because we need to first teach these people that it's a medical condition, it's manageable, and since that perception of it being witchcraft, so we need more of the media to give us space, and we emphasize this point of not being witchcraft, and we even have patients. You can follow our channel on X and Instagram and Facebook, everywhere. Lymphedema Support Foundation, TikTok. We have interviews of patients who have gone through our programs, and they are giving testimonies. So we welcome everyone to join our mission.
Now, like you said, that there are very many patients. Which areas are very prone in terms of districts? Don't like Hili, no, but if you look at Uganda, where is this most common? So,
like how we said earlier, it's the other side of Lymphedema, the one of pondocondiosis. It's almost all hilly places, mostly where there are all volcanic soils. People in Kisoro, people in Kamwenge, people in Moroto, people in in Bali, where there is volcanic, where there are volcanic soils, that component of lithium and silica, it's micro. But due to these people not having safety gears, and in the long run, these organisms, these minerals damage the lymphatic system. So we need to even sensitize them about safeguarding themselves, because even recently, we saw a video of the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Nabanja, when she was in Kamwenge district, and government is really trying to do something, but we need, we are here to add on the voice of the government. So because mainly, we didn't have the intervention here, so with government, I think we can do better with our people and with our population here.
Now, coming to the orthopedic office, when we talk about genetic, we talk about some of the people in these areas that have those volcanic soils that could have that component that damages the lymphatic system. Do we have specific ages? And much as we've said, there is no cure, but don't we have stages where you can arrest the situation?
Yes. Now, most of the times, we said some of the causes are genetic, that is in primary, and then some of the causes are secondary. Most of the times, maybe for primary, we've seen that the child is born, and then actually we've gotten kids who come to the hospital and they are 6 months and one leg is bigger than the other. So most of the times what we always do there, we try to do the compression therapy as soon as possible, so that because children grow faster. So as the child is growing, we also compress, because now we are mechanically aiding the lymphatic system to flow properly. So as the child is growing faster, so also we do the compression. So there we are controlling the the megality of the condition, the leg becoming big, because we've seen some children, actually of recent we've had a patient of 3 years but having a very big limb. So we started on him, and now he's doing very well. So of course, then for the podoconiosis, age, it can get anyone at any time. Yes, it is not contagious, but then you can get it in certain areas, as they said, tropical areas where we have most of the mosquitoes, and then the hilly areas where we have the silica. As long as I remember, they always attack those people mostly in the village areas, where you find people walking barefooted in gardens, and of course they will not fail to go to the garden because they have to do their activities. So it can get anyone at any age, because even we've seen that we have trauma accidents where we have the distortion of the lymphatic system causing the system to fail. Yeah, so it can get anyone at any time. Yeah, thank you.
Now, we are looking at this particular situation, and the word is there is no cure, but the situation can be managed.
Yes.
There's no cure,
Yeah.
but it can be managed.
Yeah, true.
And the best thing is to manage it as early as possible. Now, I want to go back to the clinical officer here. We talk of this treatment being expensive. Is there any way that the organization, that is the Edema Support Foundation Uganda, chips in at this? If I find someone on the street, if I know someone having this situation, can I just bring this person maybe to offices? You know, how can I be of help to someone who has this situation?
So the treatment being expensive, we have always tried to partner with the German people who make these materials. So we try to bring in these materials at a subsidized cost, and most of the time what we try to do is we try to chip in for these patients out of our own cost. So that's why it becomes a bit expensive. So to help these patients, we have our offices in Luwero where you can bring these people, and we have our phone numbers, our social media. If you know anyone, absolutely anyone, even if it is a person on the streets, it is very much of benefit that you call us, that you inform us, and we can always try to help this person. We can always try to get for these people material. We can always try to fundraise and partner with as many people as possible so that everyone gets treatment. Because these people too deserve to have a decent life. They deserve to have a decent shot out there, their jobs, in relationships, because they never wished for this. This just came along the way. And due to the knowledge gaps we have, we really can't blame anyone that we treat these people this way. But that is, like I said earlier, our role now, to sensitize as much as we can, sensitize from each and every single citizen, sensitize health workers, and also teach them how to manage so that in the future, as we go on, at least any patient of lymphedema can not only be managed by us, but also by some other hospitals as well. Yes.
Well, time is flying very fast, but I'll just give each of my guests at least 2 minutes for their parting shot, beginning with the director of the Edema Support Foundation Uganda. And of course, I know in your parting shot, you won't fail to call upon. There's something that always bothers me. I'm sorry to say this. When you look at people in developed countries, the rich, the extremely rich, they give so much to charity. They give, when you look at politicians there, they speak so much of the charity they have done, the blood donations they have given, you know, the orphanages they're supporting. When we come back to my motherland, Uganda, when you talk about groups like the Kwagarana groups, we have these socialites that come and make a lot of money. No wonder some of them, their ending is very unfilthy. We don't see them giving. And I want to commend, for example, Rotarians in this country. There's another group, there's Rotary, there's also another group that does charity. not Interact, there's Rotary, the Lions, are they Lions something? These are groups of people that have come together to support. Now here we are talking about a cause. When you move on the streets, when you go to the likes of Kamwenge, people are so many there. And knowledge has been found. And there are people who are saying, yes, we can do so much. Where are you? Why not join hands with such people? But anyway, I leave that to you.
Okay. So thank you very much. As we wind up, thank you very much for the program. So we call upon everyone in our communities. We call upon our religious leaders, our cultural institutes. For example, like the Uganda Kingdom, because for example, the term Etalo is well known here in Uganda. So I think with the cultural institutions like Uganda Kingdom, they will help us in raising awareness about this condition. But Etalo Sidogo, we have a new campaign called Etalo Sidogo. I think like with time to come, we shall be launching it. Probably to communicate to the people that people with chronic swelling, people who have chronic wounds, by the way, like people who have open wounds that are failed to heal, let them come through. Let us support these people, because these people need the treatment as early as today. We also call upon government, because we know government has done a lot and it's still doing a lot for us, but we still need to call upon government to intervene with what we call the lymphatic diseases. The lymphatic diseases are really affecting the population here, and it's in silence, and surprisingly, treatment and management is available. So we are called upon everyone, the media companies, corporate companies, well-wishers. If you are really touched about, I think we all know that we have these people like in our communities, and you all know about them. The challenging part is this condition takes long to take your life, but the physical and psychological trauma you go through. But surprisingly, management and treatment is available. So we call upon everyone, the government, and even the medical professionals. You can come through, because the challenge was also our medical profession didn't know how to handle this. So mostly when our people approach them and they fail to get answers, we don't even doubt them thinking it's witchcraft. So let's come and join hands together. We'll see how we can help all people with swollen limbs and with lymphedema. Thank you very much.
Okay, now the gentleman in the middle, your parting shot.
Yeah, thank you so much, UBC, for hosting us and for creating awareness for the for the lymphedema patients on this World Lymphedema Day. As the Bible says that there is still hope for a cut tree to sprout again. So I have to tell you, the patients who are out there, that there is still hope for a patient who has had inability to walk with the lymphedema to walk again. Yeah, so there is still hope, and then we can work on you, please. We call upon the government, we call upon health workers, we call upon all well-wishers and the public at large to support these patients. Thank you so much. And
Semakula, your parting shot.
All right. Just to quote a little bit, still in the good book, the Bible says to love each other, or love your neighbor as you love yourself. Imagine if we extended a hand to these people. Imagine if for every person on that street that you find asking for help, you reached out, brought them to us for treatment. Imagine how much of a difference would make if each and every citizen in Uganda helped one of these people. I believe if we work together, we can do so much more if we just extend that loving heart, that loving kindness to each and every one of these people. And like my colleague said, we cannot do this alone. We are only a few people, but if we had health workers coming in to learn these things, health workers coming in to support us in the camps we organize, if we had the government, if we had all sorts of well-wishers, the difference would be so immense. The awareness would be everywhere that these people would be given a better shot at life. That is all.
Well, thank you so much, Semakula, Emmanuel, and of course, Ivan, for your time, and above all, the viewer. We have been creating awareness regarding lymphedema. Today is World Lymphedema Day, and this is basically swelling of the lymphatic system. When the lymphatic system gets challenges, of course, the swelling comes in. The experts have explained that much. So let's not mistake this for witchcraft. It is a situation that can be managed. It may not be cured, but it can be managed for that person to have a better life. Let's all embrace this. Let's extend a hand. Let's contribute, because I know we can have these camps in these areas. We can, Ugandans, you know, you organize Rotary, Lions Club, Kwagalana, you the socialites, you're all over, you have those expensive cars and all that, but why, if you invest in doing good to help a person live better? Think about that. Think about that. That trip to somewhere, if you can resort to charity in saving and improving someone's life, I believe the reward is higher. Since my friends quoted the Bible, I'll also quote in the Bible where it said that people went to the Lord and he said, you fed me when I was hungry. You gave me shelter. And they asked, when did we feed you? When did we give you shelter? That when you gave shelter to the needy, when you fed the hungry, when you treated the sick, you did that for me. Have the best of your day. May the good Lord bless you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels,